welcome to more Gran Turismo Sport Closed Beta Specialtatin. Now, before I start, I know y'all read the title, and I know this is going to get dislikes because that's just how it goes. But I will preface this by saying this is an old race. So this stuff doesn't necessarily happen anymore. But it still seems right to point it out because if it ever does happen, it's pretty much game breaking. And I'll go ahead and start it off, I guess, because, well, if y'all looked at the times and figured I qualified second, but instead, because PD logic, I'm starting second to last. Now, granted, the pole sitter's still starting one position ahead of me, but still, this can only go terrible, folks. This can only go terrible. A car that did not qualify, who's extremely slow offline, is starting on pole. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad driver. It could just be a good driver who didn't have a chance to qualify, and that car is by default slow off the line, but yeah, I'm already having to recover from a PD logic before the race even starts. That's wonderful, folks. That's wonderful. But anyway, I start good off the line, so I am getting around a few people here, which I guess is a good thing, but there's still this first turn coming up where pretty much all bad things happen. And everybody got checked up there because some drivers who shouldn't have been in front started in front. But actually, I'll pause the video here because this is downright wonderful. Even though there were some, checkups and slower in general, the field starting in a random order with everyone in random positions, which probably makes a whole heck of a heap of people mad and therefore more aggressive. Everyone gets around that turn better than if a field starts in normal positions a lot of the time. So I will give the field credit for that. The field itself recovered from the PD logic pretty cotton picking good. So anyway, on to the next bit where it's now 4 wide. This ain't gonna go well, is it? Yeah, that Magon is Magon. That's for sure, folks. That's for sure. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but it's the Renault that's the front-wheel drive one that ain't really all that good except for on a straight. And that was a turn, and it was a turn that it took 4 wide, and yeah, it went Magon quicker than the lickety split. But anyway, I'm actually recovering pretty decently, I guess, because I'm already in 6th. In theory, I should be battling for first right now, but in reality, I ain't, so, yeah. It doesn't really matter how well I did in qualifying, it matters how well PD thinks I did in qualifying, and PD thought I did second worst, so therefore, that's that, folks. But I am in the top 5 as of now, so maybe, just maybe there can be some wrecks up yonder, because there's probably still some drivers up there who shouldn't really be up there, and they're going pretty caught picking close and knit there, so yeah, there's one wreck. So Jiminy Cricket, this is, other than the terrible start, this is going about as well as a terrible start could go for me, so I guess, I mean, I can't complain because I have complained, but I guess I can't really be all that mad. Especially because them two are still battling pretty caught picking hard there, so maybe, just maybe, they can battle enough where I can just get around them easily on a straight. If I can get around them easily on a straight, I actually might be able to catch first for Jiminy Cricket's sake. If I can end up winning this race after starting second to last, I think I'm going to take that as one of my better wins ever. But yeah, we just have to see. I mean, it looks like maybe, just maybe, I can get to second because I'm gaining on them pretty quick and still a lot of racing to go. So, yeah, I've actually recovered pretty well from a PD logic, but again, y'all have read the title, so yeah. So far, the only PD logic that happened, and in theory, the only one that should happen, because in theory, they shouldn't happen at all, has actually almost been nerfed. I qualified in actual second place. If it would have put me in the actual place I was in, and I might be able to get to second place. And actually, second place itself is looking kind of wobbly there, so I might actually be able to do something here. Jiminy Cricket, if I could save this, and Jiminy Cricket, I saved this. Holy snikes, folks, I am indeedy dandy in a battle for second. I recover from starting second to last. I'm already in second, so this is going pretty well, surprisingly. The Chicane of Chaos is coming up quicker than Lickety Split, and well, the Chicane of Chaos is its name, it's chaotic. So, I ain't really too good around here, nobody's really all that good around here, and, well, I actually make that fine, so, well, I'm still gonna have to open up my bottle of ketchup and have it run at full power here, because I'm gonna tip the cats first, but really, so far, I've used my bottle of ketchup pretty wisely, I guess, because I've already caught up to second, so, not bad. They're gonna have a draft on me on the straight here, but I hope they ain't gonna do anything stupid, because I don't think either of them are necessarily faster than me, given I'm already around them. And, well, I mean, I guess they can draft in a productive way. They could draft up to me, run behind me, and then in points where it's gonna help all of us bump draft, but instead, it tries to make a pass here when, in theory, both of us working together could catch the leader. Yeah, I'd rather not fight for second when a win is still something that can happen, but there you go, folks, there you go. But I guess he did pass me cleanly. He just passed me sort of with hard braking that ended up slowing us both down. But nonetheless, I'm already almost back around and on the high side for Jiminy Cricket's sake, so... Yeah, he was around me for about as long as it took for me to get almost back around him, but again, I'm on the high side there, so I can't do all that much. And that gets fourth place back in the battle too, and this is a hard braking zone, so this could really go either way. This is a prime opportunity for me to get the spot back, but this is also a prime opportunity to fourth to try to do something too, so... Yeah, we'll just have to see, folks. Actually, that went decently well. Nobody braked harder than they should have there, and actually I got a little bit of a run on second, but they can't really do anything here because it's kind of chaos. I ain't really good through here, as I've said before, and I don't really know about the other two drivers, so... Yeah, we'll just have to see, folks. We'll just have to... So, yeah, I messed up there, I'll admit that, but the game messed me up twofold because they gave me a penalty for me messing up. I did not cut the track there because you can't cut the track there because there's a wall there. I did not hit any other cars because I wrecked and my car went ghost, which is actually correct. But they didn't go ghost there when the others are wrecking into each other racing dirty. But my car did go ghost, but I messed up. But even though the car went ghost and did everything correctly on that end, I still get a penalty. I bet those cars wrecking each other in front didn't get a penalty, but I sure did. Why? 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 Why insult to injury when you've already insulted me by starting second to last? I had to recover from starting second to last on one of the most dangerous tracks in the game. I did so, got all the way to second to first, had a chance of maybe catching first, barely messed up by like 6 inches or something like that, and my race is pretty much ruined now. Not really of my own accord, but from the game giving me a penalty that if I tried to get rid of, I'd either have to go way slower or attempt to just get rid of by going the same pace, and probably not. There's no reason for that. I guarantee this video is going to get a whole heck of a heap of dislikes because that's just how it goes, but this is a truism right yonder. There's no reason why you should get a penalty in any circumstance. It's just a kind of chaos unless you wreck other people in that turn, which I didn't. I wrecked myself. Don't add insult to injury after you already insulted me about as much as you possibly could. Don't add insult to injury in any circumstance for Jiminy Cricket's sake. But no. I might be able to get around this driver because the Magon is slow off a turn and it's about to be off a turn quicker than Lickety Split, but it probably ain't gonna matter because another PD logic is I have what they call a penalty right now, and it's not much time at all, but guess what? They're gonna count it as a cotton picket second even though it's barely any time at all, and it shouldn't be there at all whether it's any time whatsoever. And wait for it, folks. Wait for it, folks. They count it as a second. And it was like .0 something. How in any way, shape, or form is a penalty .0 but then a second? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, except for the other stupidest thing I've ever seen of them starting me in the back of the pack, except for the other stupidest thing I've ever seen for them giving a penalty on my own mistake that I literally did not deserve a penalty there whatsoever. They penalized me from literally before the race started by starting me lower than I deserved by a whole heck of a heap for literally beyond the end of the race because they penalized my final time after I crossed the finish line ahead of that driver who they say is ahead of me, even though really I have to be ahead of at least all but one driver in theory of how I qualified. I ain't necessarily saying I would have finished second if I would have started second, but at least I would have had a better chance if they started me in the correct position. There's no reason this should happen, ever. I get this is a beta, I know. But this has never happened in any other version of the game. So that isn't necessarily an excuse for it to happen now. Because it's never happened before. It's not like this is a reoccurring thing. This is a new thing. Why would a new thing be popping up if it's never happened before? I get that there can be new things in terms of like glitches and bugs and stuff. But this is more than a glitch or a bug. This is something that can easily be fixed. Why would there be a penalty for hitting a wall which slows you down? Why would you start second to last if you qualified second to first? This ain't like an acceleration or bug or something with like the zeros and ones. This is literal logic that people had to think of. Somebody had to think of giving me a penalty through this Arcane of Chaos. They thought wrong there. That is not a penalty. I know at this point I probably have like 1 like and 10 dislikes or something like that, but I don't care because it's correct. If it ain't correct, someone please correct me, because I don't see how this ain't correct. If you can make a logical argument of why I deserve a penalty around this Arcane of Chaos, or why I should start second to last, if it's a good argument, I'll believe you. And I think that's going to be pretty cotton picking hard to do. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this Specialtatin, and it doesn't deserve a yeehaw. And also, in terms of the future, if anybody's still listening after that rant and a half right yonder, I don't know how much more Specialtatin I'm going to do just because I haven't been doing as much racing in general. I don't want to have to do a PD logic like this. They ain't usually this severe, but generally there's a lot of stuff where if a driver messes up in front of you, it screws you over, either sportsmanship rating penalty or just going slower in general. And I've gotten kind of tired of that. And plus, honestly, in a good light, the GT6 quick matches are pretty cotton-picking fun, and the 50% of the time I can connect to them. So I'm doing more of them too, which there will be more videos of them too. But yeah, I don't know how much more GT Sport Specialtatin there'll be, but there will be more GT Sport videos. As y'all have seen, the videos have gotten more wide a variety than just Specialtatin lately, and there will be more of that. But as for Specialtatin itself, I don't know. I don't know, folks. The races are getting kind of wild for me to really enjoy Specialtatin them. I'd much rather me give quality content that's fun to watch than a rant, but this definitely deserves a rant. If they fix it by the main game, I don't really care. But we'll just have to see, folks. We'll just have to see. I hope for everyone's sake they fix this by the main game. And like I said, this does not deserve a yeehaw.